power quality improvement in solar integrated system. These are of course different kind of energy, and out of that, I mean now renewable energy is coming up. I mean as you can just see, and renewable energy are in different form like solar, wind, biofuel, and hydro. And well, if you look in India, I mean we look into at the moment maybe the share is around 25%, 24.7%. That was in March 2021, and the renewable is coming big way. I mean for the country like India, such a big country, we are able to have like a typically, I mean 94 gigawatt quality of renewable, and this is a large capacity. And of course this is typically the, let's say, all India capacity region wise. I mean, and then you can think about the regarding like a government and you can call it private share, central government, state government share for power segment, and this is typically the different plans how it has gone. And now this is you can just see how it has gone. I mean like energy, and typically the kind of peak like the data from central electric. This is another interesting part, like how the coal, I mean now coal, especially in 2019, I mean the 1920, now the coal consumption start reducing because we have introduced reasonable renewable now. I mean like, so that's taking care of, typically responsible for reduction of the use of coal, like especially. And of course this is also important that how the, while electricity consumption, or you can call it per capita consumption, is increasing, like, I mean, so general information. And now the question is why we require renewable energy. So most of our electricity comes from coal, nuclear, and other renewable, non-renewable power plant. Producing energy from these resources takes a severe toll on our environment, polluting our air, land, and water. And renewable energy sources can be used to produce electricity with fewer environment impact. And these sources also have the benefit of being abundant, available in some capacity nearly everywhere, and they cause little, if any, environmental damage. The fossil fuels such as oil, coal, and natural gas are not renewable since their quantity is finite, and once we have extracted them, they will cease to be available for the use as an economically viable energy source. Well, you can call it electricity generation and how it affects that. 60%, 66% of national sulfur dioxide, which causes acid rain, comes from electricity generation, and 25% of nitrogen oxide, which react the sunlight to create level of you can call it ozone and smoke, comes from electricity, again electricity generation. And ozone 3 occurs naturally in the upper atmosphere where it is beneficial. However, ozone in the lower atmosphere creates the urban haze, which we call smoke. And particulate matter is the type of air pollution more commonly referred as soot, and exposure to this particulate matter is especially harmful to the people with lung disease like asthma, bronchitis, and emphysema and heart disease. And carbon dioxide is the climate change gas that causes global warming, and global warming can lead the spread of infectious disease such as malaria and dengue fever, and also contribute to air quality problems like which increase the health effect on of other air pollution. Well, what are the benefit of renewable energy? Renewable energy benefit the economy, good for business, providing energy security, economic development, energy price stability, and reduces the global risk of climate change. And energy security provides reliable power supplies and fuel dispatchification, which enhance the energy security and lower risk of fuel spills while reducing the need for imported fuel. And it offers the price stability. These resources do not entail fuel cost as require transport, and therefore offer great price stability. And electricity and the environment, the renewable energy and the environment goes in hand in hand. And traditional electricity generation is responsible for the emission of host of chemical with widespread environmental impact. Like, so these are typically, you can see how your greenhouse gas emission, I mean, evaluated on various study group. I mean, how it is in coal, through your lignite coal as a kind of, if you talk about gas emission in typically CO2 per gigawatt, compared to like what you can see probably here in the solar and biomass, or you can call it wind or hydraulic. So you can call it renewable, certainly produce a very almost negligible greenhouse gas emission compared to what you can call it like in your typically the lignite coal, oil and natural gas like. So coming to key renewable energy sources, I mean, starting with the typically the solar, of course, came late, but it has gone the very fast growth. I mean, especially the photovoltaic. Of course, solar thermal is also coming, but it's still costly. But solar photovoltaic have gone now much better than the grid parity. I mean, even India, the last tender which NTPC took it from in the Gujarat, it was 1 rupee 99 paisa per unit kilowatt hour. Like, I mean, and of course in Middle East it's already gone 1 rupee per unit. Like, so you will find next 5 years the prices for this electricity generation from solar power is further going to reduce also. Another is the wind power. We have a onshore and offshore, but of course we don't have offshore. We have only onshore. So in wind we are not so good as it has been European, but we have enough potential on coastal areas like a Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, I mean like Kerala. So plenty of those are the states you can call it. I mean like very close to the sea. I mean like Karnataka. Many states are there, and then of course hydropower. Hydropower, of course, small hydro may not have a challenge, but big hydro, I mean, have a reasonable challenge. Like, I mean, but among them, the growth have been, I mean, you can call it, they have been used for a long time, like hydro, wind, and but wind, of course, they start coming last 2 decades, but the solar in last 1 decade itself, the prices have gone to typically, I mean, to reduce to around 5 to 10% only. Like, these are the typical data. I mean, like if you look into of India renewable physical progress, how it has been growing from typically cumulatively as well as in a particular year. Like, and these are typically like a solar, which are already gone to, I mean, like around 40 gigawatt. Like, I mean, in typically in March itself. Like, I mean, also. Of course, along with the other renewable, like, I mean, as we already discussed that 94 gigawatt is already there, which is 20 more than 24.75% out of that. Like, from out of these entire renewable, 42% is the share of the solar, and 42% is the wind. But you can call it the wind. We have been for a more than decade, but the solar have come in last typically in 4 to 5 years. Like, the growth is much larger in the solar. Like, and these are of course the typically again the some sector data corresponding to a solar photovoltaic system and how it is typically either on grid or off grid. I mean that kind of generation. So why solar? I mean the first is that it is a limitless energy. The sun provides more than enough energy to meet the whole world energy needs, and unlike fossil fuel, it will not run out anytime soon. As a renewable energy source, the only limitations of solar power is our ability to turn into electricity in an efficient way and cost-effective way. Uh, as the as the publication of renewable energy information estimates, the Earth's surface receives 120 um, thousand terawatt of solar irradiation, which represents 20,000 times more power than the whole planet needs. Like, so solar power is a good for the environment as the renewable CO2 free power source, and the environmental impact on solar power is significant. It's smaller than other power generation methods. And the impact is mainly related to the production and supply of the special material and metal that are required to produce the solar panel. Like, so the solar power can use unutilized land. Across the country, there are vast land that are far away from big cities or the capital and are not used for anything at all. So with the solar power, we can actually make use of the land and subsequently generate the great value. The solar energy provides a source of power for everyone, and the solar power causes less electricity loss. Electricity needs to be transported for big power plant to end consumers via extensive network, long distance transmission equal power losses, and rooftop solar power is helpful in increasing electricity efficiency considering the short distance. Your energy becomes domestic. As a result, you are in control of your own bills and energy usage. Like, well, solar power creates job and economic growth. Our national economy can be helped by solar power. So the more the people who opt for solar, the more needs will be for the company to install solar panel. This creates additional job for skilled workers and the consequently keep the economy growing. In 2015, for instance, the UK became second largest solar employer with the 35,000 people, and the continent largest solar power panel installation market. They also boost energy independence. The sun is a near infinite source of energy and a key component of achieving the energy independence. So by increasing our capacity to generate electricity from sun, we can also insulate our country from the price fluctuations in global energy market. Well, it also solar energy benefits to end users that it drastically reduce or even eliminate your electricity bill. When solar panel system, you will generate free power for your system's entire 25. You can call it 25 years life cycle. And if you do not produce 100% of the energy you can consume, the solar, will reduce your utility bill and you will still save a lot of money. So it will earn a great return on your investment. So solar panel are not an expense. They are one of the best way to invest with return, rivaling those of more traditional investment like stock and bond. And thanks to substantial electricity bill saving, an average home owner pays off their solar panel system in 4 to 5 years and sees an return on investment of 20% or more. So this is typically the growth. You can call it like in world solar energy growth, how it has been. Like a typically utility scale, commercial scale, residential scale, and off-grid, and typically in May update. And these are the typically the world scenario. Of this solar energy generation. And if you look into the world solar energy, if on left side you see the top 10 country added in solar capacity in 2019. So India is the typically you can call it like third in capacity addition. 9.9 gigawatt is added. Typically in 2019, so as a third in the world. But absolute manner also we are not very far. We are typically about fifth in the world, like after China, US, Japan, Germany. So, and with the total capacity, in 2019 was 42.8 gigawatt. And this is typically the first country in the world, the China, how it has been the growth. Typically from 2000, you can call it 10 to 2000, typically, or it's 2015 to 2025 predictions, and then the US, how the growth is going. So in all the cases, you will find 2002, typically, coming to the growth is going exponentially, like in most of the country around the world. Similarly for Japan, and similarly for Germany. You can see Germany, of course, started in a little bit deaccelerate, then coming up, and then India. So you can see the India solar energy growth, how it is accelerating. Going to be very fast rate at the commitment like 125 gigawatt by 2000. Typically, initially by 2020, but now by 2025, we should have 125 gigawatt generation from the solar. So now coming to impact of solar energy into Indian energy scenario. So global solar PV capacity additions are expected to reach nearly 107 gigawatt in 2020, and representing stable growth from 2019. The International Energy Agency monthly development data indicate that construction activities for utility scale projects soared from March to April due to Corona lockdown, but rapidly again in the speed in mid-May. And development of distributed PV applications remains sluggish in large markets such as China and the US, although the activity in most European markets, Australia and Brazil, have not been hampered significantly. And it supports the government agenda of substantial growth while emerging as an integral part of the solution to meet the national energy needs for essential player for energy security. And still the share of the distributed applications in total PV deployment is expected to decline. That is this since of the, you can call it the lowest since 2017. So India PV deployment declined for the second straight year in DISCOM financially, unlike typically and health damage persistent 2019 measures in habit construction activity. So there has been a visible impact of solar energy in the India energy scenario during the last few years, and solar energy based decentralized and distributed applications have benefited millions of people in Indian villages by meeting their requirement of cooking, lighting, and other needs, energy needs in environmental friendly manner. It also impact typically like social and economic benefits include reduction of debris among the rural women and girls engaged in the collection of fuel wood and long distance and cooking in a smoking kitchen, and minimization of the risk for contacting lungs and eye ailments, and employment generation at the village level, and improvement in the standard of living, and creation of opportunity of economic activity at the village level. Uh, Typically, the social economic benefits include that the solar energy sector in India has emerged as a significant player in the grid-connected power generation capacity over the years, and support the government agenda of substantial growth while emerge as an integral part of the solution to meet the national energy needs. It is also essential player for energy security. So this is typically a solar potential map in India, and we are in the zone of 4 to 7. You can call it 4 to 7 unit or kilowatt hour per kilowatt power generation. And you can see reasonably all over the India kind of a quite yellow map and these are the typically state-wise estimated solar energy potential in the country. Like you can see different all the states, 30 states of India, like as a potential and this is typically like a top 10 states in solar installation capacity in megawatt on 31st December 2020, and highest being the Karnataka, typically of 7.328 gigawatt, and followed by Rajasthan and other states like that. So the India is endowed with a vast solar energy potential, and about 5,000 trillion kilowatt hours per year energy is incident for the India land area, with most parts receiving 4 to 7 kilowatt hour per square meter per day. And India has a solar potential about of 748 gigawatt, assuming 3% of wasteland uh, to be covered by solar panel according to MNRE data, and it has been taken as a central place in India National Action Plan on Climate Change, with National Solar Mission as one of the key missions. The National Solar Mission launched on 11th January 2020 and has set a target of development and deployment of 20 gigawatt solar power by year 2022. This National Solar Mission had been revised from 20 to 100 gigawatt by Cabinet in its meeting on 17th June 2015. And the mission objective is to establish India as a global leader in solar energy by creating the policy conditions for solar technology diffusion across the country as quickly as possible. This is line with the India intended national determined contribution target to achieve about 40% cumulative electrical power installed capacity from non-fossil fuel-based energy resources, and to reduce the emission intensity of the GDP by 30 to 35% from 2005 level by 2030. The solar energy sector in India has emerged as a fast upcoming section in the last few years, and emerging an integral part of the solution to meet the national energy needs. And recently, India has achieved 5th rank in the world in the solar power deployment, and in solar power capacity has increased by more than 11 times in the last 5 years, from 2.6 gigawatt in March 2014 to 28.18 gigawatt in March 2019. Well, the government of India has launched various schemes to encourage generation of solar power in the country, like solar park scheme, visuality gap funding scheme, then CPU SU scheme, defense scheme, canal bank and canal top scheme, bundling scheme, and grid connected solar rooftop scheme. These are the typically, you can call it year-wise achievement of grid connected solar power project in different years, and it has already gone to more than 28 gigawatt cumulative capacity. And these are of course the state-wise installed capacity on 28th February in grid, effective in different states so all you can call it typically 36 states also. And Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Maharashtra, and Rajasthan are the top 5 states in India renewable power generation. And currently, India meets its 24.71 energy demand from the renewable energy sources. In total renewable generation, 42.04% power is generated by solar photovoltaic system, and from total solar power generation, 91% is generated by the ground-mounted solar photovoltaic system, and remaining 8.92 is generated by the rooftop solar photovoltaic systems. Well, off-grid solar PV applications program is one of the oldest program of the ministry, and it aimed at providing the solar PV-based applications in area where the grid power is either not available or unreliable. And applications such as solar home lighting system, solar street lighting system, solar power plant, solar pumps, solar lantern, and solar study lamp are covered under the program. And under the National Solar Power Mission, a target of 2,000 megawatt peak was kept for off-grid solar PV applications. Like under the phase 1 of mission from 2010 to 13, a target of 200 megawatt peak was kept against the 253 was sanctions. And under the phase 2 from 2013 to 17, a target of 500 megawatt peak was kept, and against the 713 megawatt peak has been sanctioned. Under phase 3 of off-grid and decentralized solar PV application program, target of 118 megawatt have been kept, excluding solar pump and solar home lights. And solar pumps are installed under PM Kusum scheme of the Ministry of Power, and solar home lights are taken up under Saubhagya scheme of Ministry of Power. And these are the typical data application by statistics of installation of off-grid and decentralized solar PV program, like typically you can call it solar lamp lantern, solar pump, even to 2,81,368. Like similarly, solar street and solar home lighting system and solar power plant and packs like. And these are typically state-wise details of decentralized off-grid renewable energy system devices on 28 February 2021, like in the all different states of. So the total 8.3 lakh street lighting system and 17.23 lakh home lighting system are installed in various states of India under the various government schemes, and total 79.5 lakh solar lanterns are distributed in low electrification villages under the various government schemes. And total 216 megawatt peak of grid solar photovoltaic plant are installed in various states of India, and total 2.81 lakh solar photovoltaic pumps power generation are installed in various states of India under the various government schemes like PM Kusum and PM Solar Pump Yojana. Well, coming to recent major investment in the Indian renewable energy sector, is the Brookfield to invest $800 million in Renew Power, and Renew Power and Surabhi Energy will invest nearly Indian rupees 750 crore in a 150 floating solar project in Uttar Pradesh, and Badla Solar Park in Rajasthan, which will be the world's largest solar plant with a capacity of 2.255 gigawatt, is being built. So India 5 largest plant. The first one is the Badla solar plant of 2.25 gigawatt, located in Badla village, Rajasthan, Jodhpur district. And the second is Shakti Sthala solar power project of 2.05 gigawatt. It is located typically in Karnataka. And the third largest Alta Mega solar park of 1 gigawatt, located in Andhra Pradesh. And the fourth Riva solar power project of 750 megawatt in Madhya Pradesh. And the fifth largest plant in India is Kamuti solar power plant of 648 megawatt, typically in Tamil Nadu. So these are the 5 largest, you can call it India largest solar plants. Like now, coming to the world top 5 solar PV developer, like Adani Group Energy with the 12.3 gigawatt, headquartered in Ahmedabad by Energy, and the second is GCL New Energy with the 7.1 gigawatt, and the SB Energy with the 7 gigawatt, and Nanel Powers with the 6 gigawatt, and Brookfield with the 5.7 gigawatt. So these are the 5 top world player of solar power developers. Like now, coming to application of solar, typically of photovoltaic. So one is like a solar farm, as you can see how they look like as a solar farm. Another is the typically remote locations, on rooftop, how look like your typically, especially on rooftop home, this or solar installation, like as an individual house, as a typically whole colony. And then the typically standalone power applications, typically for parking meters. Then the typically traffic lights, standalone power applications like a traffic sign, or the standalone applications typically of telecom tower. So this is a very big sector in India. You can call it like we have around 4.5 lakh telecom tower, where these are going to be like a deployment almost in all, because government of India already told they have to reduce the diesel consumption. So solar panel are going to be virtually installed for that, along with of course with the battery bank as well as the genset. Because sometimes supply are not there, even many are not connected telecom towers with the supply itself. Like so, very purpose of putting the panel, because you have already battery bank. So putting the panel is that you reduce the diesel consumption as well as you reduce the capacity of the DG set. Like so, both segment, both parts are very important for telecom tower. This is the second largest consumer of the diesel in India after the railway, like your telecom tower. I mean, the major reason being that you can forget the meal, but you will not forget having to miss your typically your mobile phone call. There is another application like external power application like solar water pump for irrigation purpose, or your street lighting, or your solar parking. I mean, it's start going to be like in parking also now, or external opening for powering space put on the satellite. The entire energy coming to the satellite it comes only from solar panel, or it's a building related needs like a solar window, roof tiles, or military usage. You can see how the military man have a panel on his back, on the back on, or portable equipment, or the bag. I mean, where the all are using solar panel, or typically in transportation, like either on the roof of the train, on the roof of your train station, or on the roof of typically on mobile vehicles, or even including the simple rickshaw. Or people start putting even on e-rickshaw too. Like so there are plenty of applications are coming up. I mean, like for your uh, application in the transportation system. I mean, even the you can call it the last phase of metro from Delhi to typically coming to Faridabad or Vallabhgarh. I mean, on every metro station is also have around 400 kilowatt solar panels. Like, also. So we also look into as a future projected solar PV panel generation in India. I mean, we just estimated 2,566 gigawatt. I mean, which maybe even typically maybe around 6 times or 5 to 6 times, around more than 6 times what we have a generation today. So first is the like a data from MNRE, like a wasteland. 3% of Indian wasteland is covered with solar panel with MNRE data. It comes 748 gigawatt, and the second is survey of highway. I mean, like if we talk about like a 1 megawatt on the per kilometer on highway, we have a 6 million kilometer highway, so it comes 600 gigawatt. And third is the solar water pumping system. So we have around typically even have a 10 kilowatt solar panel for pumping. Then we have a total, you can call it like a 150 million farmers, so it comes 500 gigawatt. Similarly, in village, if you have a school, hospital, community center, water supply, panchayat office, and other facility with a 500 kilowatt, I mean, like on community center, and we have a village around 600 lakhs, so it comes 300 gigawatt. Similarly, canal top, we have even a 2 gigawatt canal on top and per kilometer, and we have around 100 canals, so it comes around 200 gigawatt. Like similarly, we can have like a replacement of Ujjwala Yojana for cooking, lighting, fan, TV, and other applications with a 2 kilowatt solar PV system on a household. So we have a total 50 million household in India, so it comes 100 gigawatt. And on the electric three-wheeler like e-rickshaw, covering the top of this with the, even a 500 kilowatt, 500 watt solar panel on each three-wheeler, and there are 100 million three-wheeler. So by 2030, so it will come around 50 gigawatt. And educational institute like IIT, we already have a 2 megawatt, so we can have a further potential even up to go to 10 megawatt. So it comes like around typically 4,000 colleges and universities in India, so it comes 50 gigawatt. And railway and metro station, so on each railway or metro station, you can have a 500 kilowatt. So we have a 7,000 railway station and 500 metro stations, so it comes 5 gigawatt. Then on the schools, so we can have a 20 kilowatt on each school top. We have a 5 lakh private schools in India, so it comes 5 gigawatt. And government PSU, we have a 10 megawatt on each PSU. So the 500 central PSU and state PSU, it comes 5 gigawatt. And on the bank, if you have 20 kilowatt on each 1.2 lakh bank, bank, so it comes 2 gigawatt. And petrol pump, we put 20 kilowatt on typically panel on each petrol. There are, you can call it 60,000 petrol pumps, it comes 1 gigawatt. So totaling like a 2,560 gigawatt is the potential, which really realistic. I mean, you can call it the potential, and it is at the moment around typically more than 6 times the what we are having really total generation in India. Like, so now coming to typically solar energy conversion system, I mean like a rooftop, and you can just see how the emission. I mean, we have a sunlight on the panel, which goes to typically into the home as well as the remaining power goes to the grid. I mean, that's what we call it the typical concept of rooftop. Like, I mean, so microinverter mounted on each PV panel will convert the DC voltage from PV panel to the village suitable for your home. And remaining AC grid, you do not use the send back to the grid like. I mean, so you can just see like it can be off grid or it can be your grid type, I mean, or typically how the model placement and orientation is there, and how the on-roof mounted, ground mounted, or typically the trackers are there, and how this is typically a 6,412 trillion electricity produced in China in 2000, with 118.2 trillion was generated by solar power, equivalent to 1.8 of total electricity production. Well, this is the typically you might be seeing a couple of the photographs. I mean, when your present Prime Minister by the Chief Minister of Gujarat, so they have a first 1 megawatt canal top solar power plant project. But you can understand how people were talking about. They were saying, I mean, you can think about, I mean, like even the so much water will not be evaporated if you put the panel on the typically on the canal, and this is the totally unutilized area where we can have a lot of generation from canal top, as I have given in the table 2, like also. So coming to the world largest solar park in Karnataka, which we already talked about of 2.05 gigawatt, and the another is Bardla in Rajasthan, which was the cost of 2.44 rupees per unit. Another is this is the largest, I mean, India, the rooftop plant of 7.52 megawatt in Dera Vyas in Amritsar, Punjab, and this is the India's largest rooftop. Same photograph from the different angle of this. So coming to the advantage of rooftop grid interface system, the one is the saving in transmission and distribution losses, low gestation time, no requirement of additional land, improvement of tail and grid voltage, and reducing the system congestion with highest cell consumption of solar electricity, and local employment generation, reduction of power bill by supplying surplus electricity to the local electricity supply, and battery elimination makes the easy installation and reduce the cost of system, and no storage losses leads to effective utilization of power also, and peak power supply as well as the supply cycle. Well, the performance verification, the PCC variation, and I mean all these are the typical kind of benefit like these, and these are of course efficiency versus some of the disadvantages of this coming to. So now coming to the issue in grid interface PV system, the one problem in India, what we have in Indian grid is the major problem of over voltage and under voltage. I mean the first plant I remember decade before was in by Bull Power in Moradabad on the 11 kV substation where the voltage was fluctuating from 9 kV to 13 kV, and that's the reason the inverter was getting very frequently. Like, another is the of course instantaneous voltage change and the voltage unbalance, and the typically cost reliability and efficiency of the grid interface, the grid congestion and weak grid. So we have very poor weak grid, like, and variability of renewable production and power quality issues like protection issues like a short circuit electricity, reverse power flow, lack of sustained power current, uninterrupted islanding, and bidirectional power flow in the distribution network, and localized voltage stability power. Another is the influence of unbalanced grid voltage, increase in the grid voltage under bulk power injection, and the traditional grid operates under the assumption of one-way radial flow, but electricity injected into the grid increases the voltage and can drive levels outside the acceptable bandwidth of ±5%. And the PVA power is intermittent in nature, means rapid changes in the voltage. This not only wears out voltage regulator due to the frequent adjusting, but also can result in a voltage breaker. And connecting to the grid for many protection-related changes. In addition to islanding, as mentioned above, too high level of grid-connected PV result in problems like relay desensitization, nuisance tripping, interference with automatic reclosure, and fiber resistance. So why we require advanced control algorithm for solar photovoltaic system? For better control of solar photovoltaic system, to increase the maximum power tracking accuracy in actual environment condition, typically to increase the maximum power tracking efficiency in the practical conditions such as partial shading, to improve the synchronization of solar photovoltaic system with the weak distribution network, and to improve the power quality of solar photovoltaic system in practical grid conditions such as imbalance and distorted grid, unbalance, and typically presence of non-linear load, to reduce the effect of solar intermittency on the distribution and transmission network. So some of the advanced control algorithms for grid interface system on which we have typically the work, so this is the first research attempt. You can see if so many systems installed, so there is a reasonable challenge for doing the research also. So what we look into, like typically, this is normally most of the system are single stage which are done in practice at today. So we like to discuss like a different single stage, two stage. So what we work here, it's a single stage system. We have a panel, is connected to DC link of the single phase voltage source inverter. But what we look into that this inverter is not only used for the solar PV generation, but we try to use this inverter for 24 hours by even a compensating the local non-linear load. So it works like a kind of, you can call it like active filter at the grid, and the grid current should be sinusoidal. I mean, like at unity power factor when it is injected to the grid after consuming, after meeting the requirement of local non-linear load or linear load, whatever it is at the moment. So inverter is utilized 24 hours for improving the power quality, on the grid, irrespective there have been a grid voltage problem. So the inverter should not get taken. So it's not only for, let's say, for maximum power taking or generation of solar power from the solar, but it also applies for all the time for load compensation as well as for improving the power quality at the grid, also, and operate successfully even there's a power quality problem in the grid, like typically like a voltage fluctuation or voltage distortion, so these are typical control scheme, because it's a single stage system. So MPPT virtually give the DC link voltage reference. You have to select the design of the in such a manner that DC link voltage remain. The inverter operates accurately. We have a feedback DC link voltage after the filtering, and then we control it to like a PI controller, so that we consider like a one component of the active component of current going to the grid. Then we of course take the typically the load current from which we calculate the active component of the load current, and which also takes typically. So these two, like you can call it, this is the, you can call it, we consider equivalent to kind of losses. This also, the supply is supposed to meet the losses of the inverter. This is also equivalent to of course the power consumption in the local load. But here we take the from PV power a feed forward term. Like from PV power we are already estimating because of MPPT. So with this, we are able to have another component of the grid current, which is, a kind of disturbance in the system. So we take a feed forward, but this enhances the response of the typically of the system as well as reduce the burden on the PI controller, because this is a reference grid current. Because reference grid current now knows in advance, okay, that we have already, power is coming up. So certainly PI control need not to do so much exertion. And once we have a reference current here, we have a template from the, typically from, you can call it from the supply. So we are able to get the gating signal for the inverter to maintain unity power factor. But if you want to regulate the voltage, that also you can do it, by putting a part of reactive component like. So that's meant for that. If your capacity you want to use for not for power factor correction, but you want to do for voltage regulation. And this is typically the kind of like a filter which we have used in this case for extracting the fundamental from your typically, from your distorted voltage and current. Typically. So this your you can call it this GD LSR technique is used as a hybrid gradient descent factor. The least square regression which belongs to a canine projection family, and moreover in this work the Laplacian kernel function is integrated in the weight update process of quick pattern recognition of fundamental component, and the GDLSR smoothly adjusts the conventional cost function which minimize the tracking error, improve the quick pattern recognition and filter performance. And due to the hybridization of gradient descent factor and the least square regression, this technique is free from derivative term, so the computational burden is low, as well as the performance of GDLSR control is extremely and suitable for high frequency system. So that is the block diagram of the scheme. So very purpose is like you have a load current, and from load current we are extracting active component of fundamental current from here. Like using the output the voltage template here. So that is the way virtual this algorithm is really working as a good filter here. Well, this is for the quadrature component. If we really want to meet the quadrature component of load current, local load current. And this is the typical control scheme, you can call it like here. This is the for you're doing the for the reference DC link code you are getting for MPPT algorithm, and then we are using the controller for meeting the what is shown in the block diagram. And this is typically for voltage regulation, so reactive component current. So this is typically comes as a one active component, another reactive, and that we get the reference, typically the current, and we change the grid current and maintain the grid current. In phase with the supply voltage, sinusoidal current, irrespective the voltage may be distorted like. So these are of course the system is implemented in the laboratory environment with the solar PV simulator or emulator, and you can see the supply voltage and supply current, they are in out of the phase. It means the power is going to the grid, and this is the load current, which is also compensated by the same inverter which is generating that your solar power like. And this is typically the, you can call it the solar PV voltage, solar PV current, and typically the your grid current, like reference grid current estimated. And you can just see here grid current and grid voltage, which are out of the phase, but at almost like a unity power factor. And the TAD of the grid current have been only 1.4% when the voltage was little distorted with the 1.2% TAD. And it operates typically under the when there is a power quality problem on the grid, even there is a over voltage on the grid, still the inverter does not trip. It works very well. Only for a constant power the grid current reduces as the voltage and increase to maintain the constant power. But of course the load may be also little affected. This is a DC voltage. You can clearly see the grid current TAD is only 2.4%. I mean even the voltage TAD was 2.3% also. And this is for under voltage. When voltage reduces, still the inverter, I mean, the system works very well. Otherwise, the earlier system was tripping and with the under voltage, over voltage, when protection was put in that way. But this, I mean, control is modified in a manner that it can work with the under voltage as well as over voltage without any problem. I mean, it's no change over form. And the TAD here in the under voltage is also only 2.6% of the grid current life. And then the under distorted voltage, and just the distorted voltage also control is modified in a manner the voltage TAD is 7.6%, but current TAD is still 2.1%. So we have to use another set of filter on the grid voltage to filter before using the control. So control is modified for performing to that. And these are the dynamic behavior of the system when the solar panel power is increasing, and accordingly, I mean typically, of course, load is not affected, and typically as the solar panel power is reducing. Or you can call it in the daytime, you have a solar generation, but in the night you don't have solar generation. But still, I mean, this is, I mean, not getting disturbed. So in the daytime, of course, it is feeding the power to the grid at unity power factor. But in the night time, also it working as a D-step form or your active filter, and the grid current is still maintained sinusoidal and in phase with the voltage. Even the power is coming from the grid to meet the load requirement. Your load remain constant. In the daytime, of course, the power comes for feeding the load comes from typically from the solar generation, but certainly in the night you don't have a generation, but you still need the power to the local load. That is supplied by typically from the grid, but the you can call it harmonics and reactive are supplied by your this voltage source converter, and it provides the sinusoidal current. I mean out of the in phase with the supply voltage, it was out of the phase with the supply voltage. And this is you can clearly see the TAD of grid current is still 2.2% when the voltage is also having TAD of 2.1%, and almost operate at unity power. Clearly you can see here. So this is the typically comparative study of different typically algorithm of this you can call it NN based algorithm compared to your synchronous time theory and least mean square algorithm, and how typically the first and other features of this system. Now coming to another system, like we call it like a two-stage system. I mean for single stage, two-stage system. Earlier we were using the inverter and doing the entire job. I mean for DC to AC conversion as well as by doing typically even other function also what we discussed it. But now it is a two-stage system. The very purpose of this DC-DC boost converter is to do the MPPT of solar PV. And from solar panel it should put the power on the DC link on which inverter is supposed to feed to the grid after meeting the local load requirement like. So looks to be in a first instance that two-stage system certainly will be less efficient and costly, but we look into the, of course, research that we are able to reduce the losses in the inverter by adjusting the DC link voltage within certain region in proportional to the grid voltage. In India, grid voltage changes so that the losses in inverter are reduced as much as even more than what the losses have been in the boost converter. The benefit of two-stage is that you can take the panel of equal to the voltage rating of your DC link because boost converter is there. In previous case, you have to take the PV voltage much higher, 15 to 20%. So all the devices are exposed to around 20% higher voltage rating at which they are utilized only for the nominal voltage rating. So that's the benefit here, that the voltage rating of all the devices are reduced compared to like a single stage system. And apart from as far as losses are concerned in boost converter, the losses in the inverter are because you are allowed to change now DC link voltage because this is not affecting the now MPPT. Your MPPT is done from that. So if your DC link voltage is allowed of the inverter, so losses in the complete inverter are reduced. I mean around much larger, like typically here if the loss is around 1.5%, the loss reduction voltage source converter was typically around 4%. We again to meet the local requirement, so we are sensing the load current and filtering the current and getting fundamental out of it. To sample the hold, we are able to get only the amplitude of active component current, and this is the DC link voltage controller virtually required for to meet the losses in that case, and this is the feed forward term from the solar, and from this we calculate the amplitude of the grid current multiply the template, so we get the reference grid current, and we have feedback grid current to give you the control signal for the your typically the you can call voltage source inverter and converting from your DC source into AC source. Like, and this is the from the voltage. I mean, single phase voltage how we are designing two phase, and then from two phase we are able to get the amplitude and then the template, quadrature template and phase template. Phase template used to estimate the reference grid current in phase with the supply voltage, and quadrature template is used to get the amplitude of the your fundamental sinusoidal current. We are able to get amplitude of the active component of current, like so for which that will be at 90 degree. The quadrature component will have a zero crossing at 90 degree, like so that gives you typically the control scheme for this, in which the working kind of active filter. And this is the of course the your I mean the control of the boost converter for MPPT. I mean where you have to of course modify the duty cycle to control the voltage on the PV panel, like also. So the second order sequence filter, the very purpose is of this filtering algorithm is imperative help in extraction of the load fundamental component in the form of weight, and this highest order filter provides the additional element of high quality harmonic attenuation performance. And this typically the method is less complicated as compared to the complex master control method, such as synchronous transferring theory, ABC DQ transformation method, and PLL based algorithm. The performance of the proposed this you can call it second order sequence filter based control is restricted to complexity proposed by the grid, and moreover it is less susceptible to oscillations and helps in the DC offset element reduction also. The composition of this your typically of your this second order sequence filter based control consists of your sequence indicator, which basically used for the generation of the positive and negative symmetrical component, and your this sequence indicator has a complex transfer function which acts as a band pass filter for elimination of harmonic content, and combination of such multiple structure with a common feedback provide better harmonic mitigation and filtering ability, and is termed as a typically like your sequence filter. And moreover the this your sequence filter has a supplementary feature which include DC offset rejection capability and frequency estimation, apart from reducing the harmonics in the system. And a standard second order filter is defined by transfer function, and these are the typical transfer function of these filters, like and these are typically the performance you can see here. We have a grid voltage and we have a grid current, we have a load current here, and then typically we have an inverter current, like so when the you can call it the when there may be a change in the load current according to the grid. If load is increased, load consume more power, but the generation from solar is constant. That's why the grid power or grid current are reduced, like you can clearly see here. And when the load is increased, certainly you will find according to the control signal it change, and you have a less power flowing to the grid, like because power generation is like. And these are typically when the solar insulation level is decreasing, like and how this is meeting the typically the requirement of the system. And then the your sudden PV in the night when there is no generation, the still system work very well to work as active. I mean the converter is able to operate, to compensate the you can call it the load. I mean like also. And now coming to typically another interesting part here. I mean we have taken a single phase grid connected solar photovoltaic battery system. Now we put the battery here in on the DC link. I mean the very purpose of the battery is like the intermittency of the PV generation is not reflected to the grid. The grid sees and the variation of the intermittency of the load also is not reflected to the grid. So you can feed the constant power to the grid. So both the intermittency can be taken care by the battery. And if there is the grid is not there, still the load can get the uninterruptible power. Whatever coming from solar remaining can come from the battery. If the generation is more, it can go to the battery and feed the required power to the load. So you can call it by just adding the battery. I mean, like we can say, I mean, like interesting part here is that you are able to feed the constant power to the grid. Like, I mean, now you can control the already remarked power, how much power you want to feed. You can do that in that case. Like. So this is typically you can call it like kind of, I mean, the power measurement. Okay, how should be the battery utilized also. And these typically you can control algorithm for getting the fundamental component. You can say grid current in light of the even the load current, like here. So you have a PV power, you have a load power, and the difference from the solar generation goes to the grid, like which gives the grid amplitude, but you have phase, so it gets the grid reference current, and you control that. And for this purpose, of course, you require your voltage. I mean, calculating the template and other things you require typically the grid voltage, and why we require the magnitude we have here, the given the kind of phase also for the purpose of synchronization. Grid is not that you have to synchronize. So for grid synchronization, your voltage and frequency should be within the the stipulated range as well as angle. But after that, you have to synchronize by floating the inverter towards the grid. So that's virtually the process for synchronization. How it goes, so your angle have to of the inverter have to go through the typically the grid angle. Slowly, and then once it goes to equal, then you can close the switch. So these are the conditions when the grid is acceptable or not. Once grid are acceptable, then only synchronous process will start. So that is typically kind of a multi-layer modified second order filter to extract the, you can call it from the load current, the fundamental current. Here. That is typically the block here. So you have load current, you have fundamental load current. Also the intermediate signal how to go to. And these are of course the transfer function of all these filters what we are using here. Because there have been some, you can call it some issues with the SOGI filter, second order generalized integrator, and it is not able to produce the pure sensor. Moreover, the quadrature signal is impacted by the DC signal. It is observed that the SOGI body plot is moved to new operating frequency with no change in the filter bandwidth. It shows that it accepts the change in operating. The change in damping ratio changes the bandwidth, and so the filter dynamics. So core dynamics is observed with the lower value of eta, and it reduces the bandwidth. So therefore, to improve the above mentioned problem, the SOGI structure is modified as a modified SOGI, your second order filter, it's called MSOF, and this SOGI quadrature signal contains the DC offset. To improve this, the quadrature signal output is as a result of the DC offset is subtracted from the, and the quadrature is the which is completely free from the DC offset. However, it is also observed that the amplitude and phase plot that the outputs of filter are not free from the lower order harmonic. So remove these harmonics, the multi-layer structure is used, every block is operating at a different frequency. These are the typically comparative analysis of these controllable controls. They are typical result for MPPT. It works on MPPT for different solar insolation level at 1000 watt per meter square as well as 600 watt per meter square. And these are the typical result you can just clearly see when it is in islanding mode. So it's feeding very highly non-linear load with the 32.1%, and but still the voltage here at the point of down coupling is 1.5%. So it's feeding the non-linear load in islanding position and solar power generation there. So remaining power goes to the battery. And this is typically kind of synchronization. You can just see the load voltage are not in load voltage and load current are not affected. Even the grid was not there. So when grid appears after feed cycle, the grid synchronizes, the inverter synchronized to the grid, and the switch is closed. The grid current will start coming into here, and how the angle matching take place. Of the grid voltage as well as load voltage angle are synchronized. So they are the typically like a different signal during, you can call it up during the synchronization from islanding to synchronization process, and these are the TAT typically of the current and voltage on the grid current 1.4% also. And this is when the grid is affected, but the load is not affected. Load current and load voltage are not affected. These are typically when you can call it like a when you are having your solar generation changing, and accordingly the battery able to absorb the remaining power whatever is not. So you can operate in different mode also, and these are you can call it the history grid current TAT is here the voltage TAT 1.7% and grid current TAT is 1.3% Then we have come to a similar to a three-phase system. This three-phase single-stage system. So here also what we are using, not only the inverter is used to convert with the MPPT the solar power onto the grid, but it also meets the, you can call it the requirement of non-linear local load, so that the grid current are balanced and settled at unity power factor, because all kind of non-linear load also can provide in this system also. So this is typically the algorithm where we are extracting for all three-phase load current a fundamental component of current. So that's typically comes from and then we have a a complete control from the typically coming from DC link voltage control for MPPT, and we get another component from there. So we are able to get we can call it the reference grid current. And sensing the grid current, we are able to have control of the, you can call it control of the converter, which is interface to the grid. So we can call it this distributed spark control approach is widely applied in various fields to get the solution of the learning and tracking capability. And conventional least square method approaches do not exploit the specificity in efficient way, which is solved by least fourth filter to some extent. However, major pitfalls are is heavier in influence by noise and input. And to solve this issue, a distributed based adaptive filter is proposed. In this approach, first local normalized filter is improved by 0 norms and then is extended for distributed processing for further improvement in further estimated cost. At this you can clearly see how the typically when you switch on, I mean like how the you can call it the I mean when load is switched on, how the grid typically the grid currents and you can call it inverter currents are working as an active filter, and different control signals are start working when load is added or load is removed. How the signals are really changed in this typically system, and how this performance is you can call it among all the I mean like a 4 technique. This is the most fast, and you can see the weight of quickly estimated in this case, like, and these are of course the comparison of these all 4 control techniques, and you can clearly see how the grid current are balanced and isolated unity power factor, the quite low TAT, like, and however the you can clearly see the load your load current are square wave like a non-linear current of 3-phase simple 3-phase out rectifier or thyristor converter have the load current, and these are the voltage source converter current which not only I mean feed the power solar power to the grid but also meets the requirement of harmonics and reactive power of the load to make the grid current balance and result in the power factor, like, and the typically like a when you have a typically load also unbalanced non-linear load like a single phase load, but it still get current of balance and sinusoidal at unity power factor, like, and you can see the single phase non-linear load like another unbalanced load, and that is typically the kind of inverter current is able to do it, like. So you can clearly see here also how the performance is there of the when you apply the load, how the grid current changes. I mean grid current typically reduces because the solar power generation was constant. So some power goes to the now load, so less power goes to the grid. That's why the grid current are reduced. Similarly, I mean for it goes to the when the load is removed, again the less power is going to the now consumed by the load, so more power goes to the grid and thus the grid current is increasing. So your I mean system is able to adjust quickly, I mean without any much problem maintaining in the power factor of that condition. Or you have a like a typically almost like a very low solar power, almost no solar power here, but still the your grid current remain balanced and consolidating the local load and working as a kind of then we have gone to 2 stage in 3-phase also 2-stage system, like we have a boost converter. I mean here for MPPT, and here it is an inverter which not only feed this DC power into the grid, but it meets the local load requirement of you can say called of unbalancing of the load. I mean like non-linearity of the load taken care so that the grid current are balanced and salvaged at unity power factor, like. And now the again here we already talk in single phase the rating of the voltage rating of the devices can be reduced, and PV panel voltage at I mean open circuit voltage can be equal to the DC voltage. And whenever you want to take more power, certainly voltage will go down. You have to boost a little bit, not too much in that case, like also. And these are typically control of I mean of this complete system. Again we are getting from load current, the fundamental current, and we are getting PV for forward current, and we are getting like a corresponding to the from the PI control the losses in the your inverter function. So we get the amplitude of grid current, multiply the phase, we get the reference grid current, we have a sense grid current, and we get the getting signal directly for the inverter for maintaining unity power factor sense or balance current on the grid side. And this is typically the filter. I mean how we go to advanced frequency log loop algorithm filter from load current. We are getting typically kind of fundamental current from this type. And this is typically the you can call it how the this controller I mean like work very smoothly. I mean there is no noise in that, and it very good quickly settle down to typically here. I mean without much problem compared to the other technique you have LMA for. And there is a performance when load goes from balance to unbalanced, non-linear load, but load power reduces. That's why reason solar generation is constant, so it gives more power to the grid. Similarly, I mean you can clearly see here solar generation increasing or solar generation reducing how it goes to the typically the power to the grid, like. And when there is a fault, I mean because nowadays new standard have come, when you have fault you should your inverter should remain connected to the grid, because once the fault is removed you can quickly come to a steady state also, and you should be able to feed the even if required some reactive power also to the typically the fault conditions, like. So these are typically the performance under the fault, and these are the of course the distribution result of grid current, and this is the you can call it load current, and this is the inverter current, like that. You can say even the TAT of the load current is 26.3%, but the load current grid current here is only for 5% of where the voltage TAT was also 3.1%, and this is the inverter current TAT typically of 9.2%, like. And these are typically the suddenly if load is changed, suddenly load is removed, so suddenly with that the grid current certainly increases because less power is consumed typically by the load. And similarly, in the case when the load goes from three phase to this your single phase, how it is changing and how the performance is there. Like and this is the case again when you can call it like a when the PV generation is reduced to zero, it work as a de-state form. I mean, to meet the harmonic requirement of the load, you can feel it as working as a filter. And when the again the generation start coming, you start working without any bus column and grid current balance. You there and it has a sense of like under the varying solar power generation. And even the voltage are unbalanced, you're able to get a balance voltage from the unbalanced voltage and operate the system satisfactorily. And these are typically voltage reasonably distorted. You can see the kind of distortion in the voltage, but it has a around 13.2% TAD with the load current TAD 27%, but the grid current TAD have only 4%. So that's it's able to do it. I mean, without any much power. Now we come to the typically like you can call it three-phase 4-wire. So we look into the distributed single-phase load on three-phase 4-wire. So we are able to compensate even the balance. You can call it your neutral current compensation also provided here. It's a 4-wire system. So you might have a single-phase load connected between line and neutral. Okay. And these are typically again the control for three-phase load current and your typical corresponding to MPPT. And this is typically like you can call it the current controller. So all the components are there typically here. And here the total list mean square algorithm is used to extract the fundamental of the load current so that the grid current are estimated scientifically. When the load is removed, when load is applied. So you can clearly see here how the control signal are changing during the entire process, like when load is applied, load is removed during exponential line. And operating this in case of unbalanced and distorted, the obtained templates are distorted, leading to the generation balance and distorted. Therefore, the voltage processing stage which employed a set of bandpass filter to process the grid voltage before calculation of unit template and the voltage amplitude. And this stage does not require computationally intensive PL, but only clock function. This will ensure the ease of unbalanced voltage and grid voltage. The unit template are free from them. This ensures generation of balance, distortion with difference current, and more in this case, DC offset present at PCC or introduced by sensor. The DC offset is also eliminated the unit template and the reference current. So this is typically the how you can call it the generalized integral voltage filter. So you have a typically the supply voltage and then you have this filter and you are able to get the fundamental component of the typically of this filter. And this is the process of the generalized integrated voltage filter. You get the fundamental of the voltage also, balance and voltage from that. And you clearly see how the algorithm there you have unbalanced voltage forth, and you are extracting the fundamental. From fundamental you are able to now different algorithm, and here it is like virtually for your this Pabuch algorithm. So you can see balance and chance voltage are achieved from there. This is the performance that the grid current, and you have a like typically get the converter current, typically load current, the converter current, and the grid current, which are balance and transfer. And these are the typically kind of the TAD of the load current 31%. Then you have a grid current VSC current here, and you have a grid current TAD less than even 3% TAD. And then the typically performance under short grid voltage work very well without any much fault. And the load removal and load application, how the really performance are affected. And so one information provided because of the both wire and the performance under voltage second cell is also limited. And the performance of under unbalanced voltage. There you have unbalanced voltage, but you have a balanced voltage and in the signal, and then you have a grid current balance. This is the case when we are using like a single stage system with another control like okay, a single stage system putting the grid like of this using another control algorithm. So the control algorithm is going to be simplified with the MPPT, and you can clearly see even how the typically the load current are quite on here, but the grid current are balanced and sensor. And when the solar insulation changes, how did the signal changes that corresponding to how load is unbalanced and how to work very well. These are the corresponding exponential results. So you have a load current, you have a grid current which is out of the phase with sinusoidal. Why that's not looking exactly because this is the line voltage, this is the phase voltage. And this is typically the power, and you can see the TAD of only 3.4% of the grid current. And this is the case when you have unbalanced. You have a neutral current 0 when you have an unbalanced kind of the load. Work well without any problem. And when you have a distorted voltage, from distorted voltage, we are able to have a template, estimation from eliminating the distortion, and then from this distortion, we are able to get reference sinusoidal current, and then we are able to get a sinusoidal, you can call unity power factor operation on the grid side, like. And these are the typical dynamic result when voltage swell, voltage goes to little higher for short period, so it's able to adjust, and when the typically sexual it work very well. This is the case when we are going to be like a two-stage system. Like in typically with the another control again meeting all the requirements. Like this is the control algorithm for trying to call it Hamilton adaptive filter algorithm, and these are typical simulation results. You can see the load is unbalanced, so and power is reduced, so grid current is increased. Like. And then these are the experimental results. You can see the grid current are balanced sinusoidal with the TAT of 2.8%, where the load current is TAT 27.7%. Like, and the power level for different places, and how when the load is removed, how the grid current is slightly increased because less power is consumed in the load. Similarly, when you're you can call it when solar generation changes, accordingly the solar generation less, so less current is reduced on the grid side level. When voltage are distorted, but we have extracted the typically the fundamental voltage without distortion, and even the voltage TAT of this 9.1%, but current TAT is only 4.7% or so. And when there is a grid voltage variation, you have voltage sag, and you have voltage swell, so it does not affect really. The power invariance is there, but it does not. Current remains cancelled and balance also at unity power factor. The case when you have a 4-wire system, typically with the 2-stage 4-wire system and considering the neutral current also, like typically the control is modified with the solar, and you can clearly see one phase load is removed. How did the neutral current behavior, and grid neutral current is made zero. It compensates for neutral current also, and when the solar insulation reduces, increases, how the your grid current changes. And you can clearly see how the grid current balance another when you have a typically the load and you have a converter current balance also, and the phasor are there. So now coming to typically like introduction of synchronization and battery introduction. So we introduce in 3-phase also like a battery here on the, but this time we put the battery with the buck boost converter. When you putting the battery with the buck boost converter, that second harmonic which is normally present on the reselling because of unbalanced load, either unbalanced load current or unbalanced voltage, which reflect on reselling, which does not affect the life of the battery. And you can reduce the optimum voltage of the battery also in this system. And this is for, of course, to a double shift system, you are able to get that revised rating also not increasing. Like, and when grid is not there, still load is getting uninterrupted power in this system. And these are typically the control algorithm for that, and how it is going to be like a synchronization condition. And grid is acceptable, it goes to synchronization like on. And typically the performance under, the control corresponding to grid connected mode, and the performance under, so this you can clearly see how the grid is recovered, and then you synchronizing, and when grid disappear, how it is synchronizing. It goes smoothly, the synchronization goes from, and this is typically the how the control gets for filtering, it goes very fast control of estimation of the weight or so. And when grid voltage are distorted, it still, when you have a non-linear load, grid voltage are distorted. But when you switch on the system, the grid distortion reduces, and here the grid appears, like you can say load current and load voltage are there, but here grid appears, and after that we certainly able to synchronize and connect to the grid here, and grid current start falling. And this is the when the you can call it the only non-linear load was there when the converter is switched on, and you can say all the grid voltage also improve along with the grid current. Like an inverter is able to take care of all the eventuality, and then the performance under the varying the solar insolation level also, and typically the performance in style around case. So when the grid is not there, so you can see the non-linear load with the TAT of typically of quite high TAT, voltage TAT remains less than 3% in such a non-linear load. Another is, of course, we can put like a blind interactive UPS kind of mode. And here, if we put the point with the buck boost converter, we have a solar generation, we have a grid. So grid may be there, may not be there. Still, we are able to feed non-linear load without any problem or transition. So these are typically control when it is a grid interface system. Like also, and how did the mode shifting controller with synchronization and islanding take place with the MPPT remains because battery is there. So here grid appears, and you can say how the inverter angle shift towards the grid, like when grid appears here, and then we're able to close the switch here, and grid current start coming typically like here. After 3 cycles of this, and but the load is not affected. Load voltage is also not affected, and how the when islanding is take place. It work very well in grid connected mode with the TAT of 2.3% of the grid current, and the TAT of load current was 31.81%. And this is when the solar generation changes, sudden change of solar generation how the battery current changes, and typically the grid current changes, but load is not affected. And when then this is the same thing extended for 3-phase, the battery, and with the buck boost converter, and we have a 2-stage system for islanding mode as well as synchronization mode. And this is the control of that, and you are able to see that when the grid appears and you start synchronizing, and then we close the switch for synchronizing to the grid after 3 cycles. So grid appears here, and after 3 cycles it closes the switch to the grid. Without any, it's a seamless transition take place here. And when the grid disappears, then it starts, and you are able to operate satisfactorily in the grid connected with less than 5% EAD of the grid current, and the load current EAD was quite high, 23%. And when you are operating in islanding mode or standalone mode, the grid current, load current EAD is 29.7, but voltage EAD is hardly less than 2%, 1.9%. And then how the load changes, load get unbalanced, how it is. Of course, grid current increases because now power consumed by the load is less. Similarly, when the solar insolation changes, it works very well with. So with this, we'd like to now conclude it. So increasing demand of PV power system for centralized and distributed generation, government incentive has further increased the popularity of a small scale PV system. And classification, we talk about classification of various voltage source converter based single phase, 3-phase configuration for solar energy conversion system have been investigated for putting solar power into the grid. And the multifunctional PV voltage source converter simultaneously help in power quality improvement, and the performance of various single stage and 2-stage configuration is evaluated, and maximum power tracking is demonstrated in 2-stage, both 2-stage and single stage system. And PV intermittency mitigation is also demonstrated using photovoltaic battery energy system, and PV battery energy system having a capability of seamless islanding and equals synchronization capability. So these are typically some of the references. These are of course the typically publication from all our group, like by our students. So thank you. If you have any question, I will be